Hey, welcome to SSP 107B, and I'm Teacher Josh, and I'm going to briefly go over the OEC, which is the Objective and Evaluation Criteria for my class. We will also take, it's a sheet that just says that right on top, Objective and Evaluation Criteria. We will also take a look at the syllabus, which has a list of all the major assignments and when they're going to be due. And we will also talk about the class, I just call it class, kind of the class rules, how I run my class, okay? So let's take a look. Everybody wants to know, how can I get a good grade? So, and what am I studying? So this sheet's really handy. First of all, let's just jump right over to probably what you're thinking about, and that is how do I get points? There's a little graph over here on the right side, and every class at ELS has 100 points. You guys know that. Yeah. You'll notice the first category is participation and attendance, and it's worth a quarter of your grade, 25 points out of 100. Students always ask, how can I do well on participation? So let me explain it real quick. Participation, listen, if you're just average, you show up, you do the work, that's average. You do what I ask you to do, that's average to me, and that's an 80%. What I usually do is each week I have a participation grade. So at the end of week 1, you'll see a participation grade show up on end grade, okay? And if you get an 80, it just means you were average. You weren't terrible, but you also weren't exceptional. Does that make sense? Yeah. How do you get below an 80? Well, here's how. When you start getting negatives in my little yellow book, then you'll see your grades start to go down. And what are negatives to me? Negatives to me are 3 things I don't like because I think they're distracting to the class. One is a cell phone, so just keep your cell phone put away. The other thing is speaking in another language other than English, because I think we're all here to learn English, right? Yeah. So we just want to make sure we stay in English. And then finally, just being on time. It's really distracting to the class when you show up late or you don't show up at all. So those 3 things will get you a negative in my book, and you'll see your participation grade go down. The other thing about, I don't know how other teachers do it, but for me, homework, you'll notice in the participation grade, there's a homework part to it. I will always write, you guys will notice up here, well, I'm going to put it up here. Sorry, this room is a little small, but it'll work, we'll be okay. I'm always going to stick the homework up here on the board for the next day, okay? And the way that I run it is, as long as you do the homework yourself at home, then I just gave you the full 100 points for it, okay? It doesn't mean you have to do it perfect. It's not graded. It's just a completion grade. And the whole point I do that is to encourage you to practice the grammar. We will always come in the next day and start by going over the homework together and answering any questions you have. A lot of times, too, I will ask you guys to help me with the homework. So if you do the homework the next day, I may call on you and have you lead the class. You don't have to know everything, but just lead the class through the discussion on the homework. Does that make sense? And that right there, if you help me and you obviously did your homework and you know what you're talking about, I'll give you a plus for helping me out, and you'll see your participation grade go up. Okay? The other thing on participation grade, if I write something on the board, grammar-wise, or an example, you guys should have a notebook, okay, that you're writing things down in. So at the end of the week, I want to see your notebook, and I want to see that you took careful notes of things that we wrote on the board. Does that make sense? And that to me is a plus. I mean, and by the way, it helps you to learn it when you write it down. I don't write it up there because I need it, I do it for you, and I think it's helpful to write things down. Plus, a lot of times you'll see things on quizzes that I write up there, so pretty useful. All right, so that's 25% of your grade. The other thing I should say about participation is if you miss more than 6 hours of class, okay, you lose 25% of your grade. So let's just say you do all the homework, you're participating, you're helping me out, but you miss 7 hours. Guess what? You lose all the points, all 25. Question?
Yeah. If you miss 6 or more, or
6. Well, 6 you're still okay.
okay.
As soon as you hit 7, you lose a quarter of your grade. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so just be careful. The other thing is 3 lates equals an absence.
Oh.
So every time you walk in late, I make note of it, okay? 3 of those is an absence. All right. There are also speaking evaluations. Evaluation 1 and evaluation 2. The first one is worth 10 points, and the second one's worth 15, a total of 25% of your grade. Those are worth a lot of points. The way that those work, I will pick, I'm not going to tell you the exact questions I will ask you, but the format of those is usually a one-on-one discussion with me, and I will ask you questions, okay? Just as a hint, I enjoy asking questions about the vocabulary from the units in the book. I may ask you the meaning of a word, okay? I might ask you, and I generally stick to something that we've talked about in one of the units up to the point of the evaluation. I love to pull questions from the pair work, the discussion sections in the book, and I create my own little questionnaire to ask you questions. Does that make sense? And I'm really trying to get a feel for your ability to use the grammar and the vocabulary in the book, in your spoken English. On the speaking evaluations, you guys have all seen those before. I'm grading for grammar, accuracy in grammar, fluency, which is just speaking at a comfortable pace. You don't hesitate too much. Communication. Are you communicating your ideas clearly in English? That's another category that I grade. Also, I'm grading your pronunciation of the words. Can I understand what you're saying in English? So it's the sound of your English. And then finally, your vocabulary. And again, I love it when I hear you use words from the book that we've learned, key vocabulary. Okay? So again, that's 25% of your grade, the 2 evaluations. We'll go over the dates for each thing in a minute. And then finally, the quizzes. I generally give a quiz after each unit is over. And I'll show you the dates on the syllabus in a second. So we finish a unit and I give you a quiz over that unit's grammar and vocabulary. Okay? The important thing about my quizzes is I try to create quizzes that require you to use the grammar in sentences. Okay?
Hard quizzes.
Hard quizzes, yeah.
Like always.
Yeah, like always. So, again, that's why it's important. You missed this. I want you guys to bring some paper. I prefer a notebook to take notes of like examples we give in class. It's just important that you practice producing the grammar yourself. Okay? Mm-hmm. And then finally, the final exam is worth 25% of the grade. You guys know that. Fortunately, it's 107, and it's not a graduation level, which is good.
For us.
For you, it's good. And what that means is you need to maintain a 2.0 average overall GPA, and you got to get at least a 1.0 in this class. So even if you were to fail the final but maintain the 1.0, you're still going to pass in this class. Okay? Now, real quick, let's go over the OEC. The syllabus. This is an important piece of paper. I do my best to stick to this plan so that you guys know what's coming. Okay?
This Friday holiday, no school.
You know what? That's a good point. And actually, did I include it? I didn't.
No.
Is that this Friday?
Yeah.
It's Good Friday. Big Christian religious holiday. So I'm going to have to move things around a little bit. You can just, yeah, on Friday it should just say nothing, right? But anyway, notice everything in dark bold are the big activities. So next week on Monday we'll have quiz 1 over unit 1, okay? We will also do speaking evaluations on Thursday and Friday. And generally what I do is I take the first hour of class to have those, okay? I think what I'm going to do though, because we're going to lose a whole class,
Yeah.
I think I'm going to move those to bonus lab. And I'm going to have a sign-up sheet, okay? And we'll do them on, probably what we'll end up doing is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of week 2. I'll have a sign-up sheet and you guys can just sign up to come and do it in bonus lab with me at the end of the day. Does that work for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, week 3 you'll notice is quiz 2. And then again we'll have speaking evaluations. I'll put them during bonus lab again, most likely. And then on the last week we'll have quiz 3. And then the final exam is on Thursday of the last week. No big surprises there. And you'll notice we only have 3 quizzes, which means at some point we'll probably quiz 3, we'll try to squish the information from Unit 4 into that test. Or we'll just review the information, and as long as you guys feel comfortable, then we'll just...
More than 40 students,
More than what?
40 students. 4 are playing now.
Oh, good. Some more of our students are coming, I hope. All right. All right, so listen, do you guys have any questions about the class and how it works? Okay. Hey, listen, I kind of alluded to this a minute ago, but for all the people who have to watch the video, couple things that, if you've had me before, you know that I don't like. Cell phones. Yeah, so hide it, get rid of it. You shouldn't have a cell phone out. You got to get, I know you're in love with your cell phone. You and me have had this issue before. So just put it away, please. Go ahead, right now. Yep, let's practice, good. No cell phones. And then stay in English. I think that's really important because we're all trying to learn English. Well, you're trying to learn English. I'm still learning English. No, I'm just kidding. and then just respect the class in the sense, be on time. And the other thing I want to say too about the class, I've noticed, because I've been teaching a while, sometimes, and I like excitement. I like it when people want to answer questions, but let's try to raise our hand and I'll call on you to answer questions. Otherwise, it can get crazy. If you have a bunch of people excited to like give an answer, then we, especially in here, man, it's like a sound box.
Small class, please.
We got to talk one at a time. We could knock the wall out, right? You probably won't let us do that. All right. I'm going to go ahead and turn this recording on.
Here.
You have 4? Yeah, I think that's a bummer, man.